Hey guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com here every week with new videos about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. And this week's video is definitely a spiritual and personal growth one, diving into exactly what it means to really work on yourself and improve yourself in this lifetime. Before I dive in, if you love this whole world of psychic development, come on over and subscribe because it would be so much fun to have you be a part of all of this. And now, getting into it, there is a huge focus in America specifically on manifesting and getting things, getting material success. What I'd like to see more of a focus on, though, as it pertains to personal development and spiritual growth, is working on the self and manifesting as it pertains to overcoming difficulties that we create because of who we are. And I've talked to so many people over the years, and so many people have confessed to me that they're just tired of working on themselves. Like, it just never ends. And while that can be true, the thing is, if we approach it from a perspective of working on the self and transforming the self, improving the overall quality of life as a way of living, it becomes more manageable and also really fun when we get breakthroughs. Now, the psychic work can help with that. So it's not just about questions and answers and can you foretell my future and what do you see for me? That's a thing of the past. That's like the old way where we would give our power away to a reader to tell us what our fortune will be. I think the new way and the better, more productive way to use all this psychic stuff is to look at, again, what needs to change and what deep within the psyche can be transformed so that life becomes more in alignment with the path of your soul, which ultimately leads to a state of enlightenment if we keep doing the work. And so when I talk about the psychic stuff, I've made lots of videos on here about clairvoyance and how that works. So clairvoyance works with pictures and images, symbols that are very powerful and that are stronger than language. Those images are locked like within us. And when we really get to the core of it and we clear that energy, that makes room for growth and for change so that we continuously improve. So that's the core of the psychic clairvoyant stuff and how it helps with healing and with transformation and with the working on the self. Now, what's really interesting is I use the I Ching for myself because it's this is an ancient Chinese oracle that really helps deep dive into the work and into helping you not only see what lies ahead, but how you can navigate your life. So I have a quote. It's quite a long bunch of quotes I want to read to you. This is from James DeKorne's version of the I Ching, which is only available online. I can put the link below, but it's very profound. But this is about, it just struck me when I was reading it. I'm like, I should talk to everybody about this because it's so cool. So let me just read this here on my laptop. So the general idea is that as long as we draw breath in this space-time dimension, our lives and work, with a capital W, our work are incomplete. So basically, I'll say it again because I stumbled over there. The general idea is that as long as we draw breath in this space-time dimension, our lives and work are incomplete. And then it goes on to say, this book is a spiritual guide for the man who wishes to learn the way. Study this book, read a word, then ponder it. If you interpret the meaning loosely, you will mistake the way. If you merely read this book, you will not reach the way. That was a quote by Miyamoto Musashi, A Book of Five Rings, as quoted in the James DeKorne I Ching. Miyamoto Musashi was a samurai sword master from 1584 to 1685. This is ancient wisdom. So I was reading more about this, and to further quote James DeKorne's book, it is hoped that when the work succeeds, it may give a new perspective on the nonverbal foundations of the human psyche. That great mystery which is beyond the description of language, yet constitutes both the original source and ultimate destination of all differentiated awareness. The metaphor used throughout is that of the great work of transformation, all capitals there, a concept which describes the willed alteration of consciousness from a differentiated to a unified state, and which in various traditions has been called individuation, the path, the Tao, or simply the work. And you guys, that gives me goosebumps, because it's like, that's the point. Like, rather than like, I want to manifest $1 million in a fancy car and I want to live on islands and show everybody that I have it. How about I want to work on myself so I get more in alignment with what my spirit is here to do? You know, I think that's the big point here. And I just want to leave you guys with a really cool example. And by the way, as I'm talking about this, and if you have thoughts about transformative work and the spiritual path and the way, please leave them in the comments below, because I love to read your comments. Other people do too. It's important to hear what you have to say. What you have to say is valuable. So please go ahead and do that if you'd like. I'm always working on myself. And it's funny because it's all these spiritual teachers and stuff, I think they tend to present like they're perfect or they don't have issues. And that's not true. Or people see them and think like they've got it together when they don't. Because again, if they're still drawing breath in this space-time dimension, there's work that needs to be done. So in my particular case, in working with the I Ching, there was a specific issue that brought up a lot of anger and a lot of, it's fear too, but mostly like anger, and it didn't feel good. And it was, of course, because of what I've gone through. I understand why. I understand how I process it all. Last year, it was very, very challenging. I did work to release the anger. I did what I needed to do. And I thought I kind of like came to peace with it. I don't want to give specifics. It's like such a big thing, but by like May of last year, I had come to terms with it and I felt more peace. Now come January again, the following year, this is how patterns work. The exact same situation presented itself, and I right away went into that anger mode yet again. However, I'd been working with the I Ching, and the I Ching told me this is something you don't need to be angry about. It was about a person and their behavior. This person does not have an ill intent. This is a true soul friend. You don't need to be upset about this. And so based on all of that, I took a different approach. And that dispelled the energy. It corrected the misunderstandings. And now it's like, wow, that's done. And it was little in the scope of things, but to me in my personal life, it was huge, because it was like, here's something I'm wasting a lot of emotional energy on, which I tend to do. Here's a way I handle the situation. I also worked with the heart chakra. I talk about that in other videos a lot too. Opening the heart center, because after my mom died when I was 15, I have had a closed heart and been very wary and fearful of opening up to that state of pure love for, you know, it was just such a big thing. But with all of that work, I made progress. Now, I'm not telling you that I'm complete with this, but I made progress. And that's the kind of assistance the I Ching can help you with when it comes to working, you know, the way and the path. And that just with any area of your life that you're struggling with. For me, it's like working on my outlook and the mental energy and how I'm spending energy and how, you know what I mean? Like what I'm doing. But for all of us, I think we all have different things we can work on. And we know what we need to work on if we really are introspective and we're realizing, okay, like basically, like I'm really struggling here. Or this gives me negative emotions or brings up this that isn't good. This is detrimental. That's something that you can work on and transform so that you do become more in alignment with your spirit that is free from all of the trappings of this material reality and the emotions and the misperceptions and all of those things that we bring in, you know. That's the whole gist of the point that I was trying to make here. Now, on my website, krishanti.com, I've got tons of transformational meditations and courses to help you on your path with this work. This is stuff that I've tested on myself that has proven very effective. So check out krishanti.com, tons of resources there. And on that note, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.